Right. Okay, so I'm done with that one. And next I will go to Tribal Council. April 29th, 2014. Tribal Council issues a statement on status of enrollment audit. Many of you have inquired about the status of the enrollment audit and whether decisions on how to proceed will be made prior to the 2014 annual election. DCI America has not completed the audit. We continue to find discrepancies in preliminary reports issued, which require additional review by the audit team. Even if the final enrollment audit report is received in the coming days or weeks, the Tribal Council will not have adequate time to thoroughly review it. As we discussed with the General Counsel during the community meetings, the decisions to send letters to tribal members earlier this year regarding blood quantum issues were made too quickly. DCI America admitted that the Tribal Council and General Counsel to the Tribal Council and General Counsel that a significant number of letters were issued in error. After the Tribal Council insisted the audit team review the entire federal recognition submission, the audit team now admits they made mistakes on proposed decreases. We do not want to repeat past mistakes. Many of you have asked us why we are not moving forward and with the auditor's recommendations. This audit was intended as an independent review investigation or evaluation of membership records based on the objective criteria, with a report to be issued on the tribe's compliance with the objective criteria. The auditors have made recommendations based on their own subjective interpretations of the known to be Indian list and the sibling rule. We realize that you may believe that the recommendations based on the audit's firm subjective interpretations are beneficial to your family, but the audit firm has also made other recommendations that could have devastating consequences for families, including those who believe that they are now entitled to increases. The tribal constitution has delegated sole authority over membership decisions to the Tribal Council. That statement alone, for anybody that had paid attention to the Deputy Assistant Secretary's letter and the corrections that the Bureau had submitted to the original submitted petition, would know that the Bureau's recommendation was to remove that council had sole authority over anything. That this statement alone shows that the Constitution was never originally approved because they never removed the sole authority portion out of the Constitution. So the changes were never made. Anyways, have sole authority over membership decisions to the Tribal Council. Therefore, we will not blindly accept the recommendations from DCI America, using all of the facts and information that we have, including the final audit report. We will apply our own sound judgment in interpreting and applying the criteria. When DCI America does complete the enrollment audit, Tribal Council will thoroughly review the audit results. The General Counsel has elected us to make the tough decisions in the best interest of the tribe, as we also discussed at the community meetings. Some decisions may require constitutional amendments, and if we proceed with constitutional amendments, we want the General Counsel to be educated on any amendment presented. This process cannot be completed by June elections. So that right there, Council admitted very shortly after I had entered on tribal grounds with the questions of where's my IRA, they admitted that they were in audits about the federal role. Next. Okay, this adoption policy, which I know I just went over on the other video, talking about adopting. Let me pull back up those meeting minutes. See if I can find them quickly. There we go. All right, remember where it says in August 28, 1982 meeting, the special called council meeting, talking about adoptions. Further adoptions was discussed regarding membership eligibility, areas of concern, Creek Indian descendants, non-Indian legal documentation would be acceptable for support requests for membership. Following an in-depth, lengthy discussion of all issues regarding the tribe's adoption policy, a motion was made by Buford Rowland that the Poarch Creek establish the following: children of at least 1/4 degree Creek Indian blood born to an enrolled member of the Poarch Band of Creeks shall be eligible for adoption after June 1st, 1979. Okay? Now, oops. Okay, that's not it. Sorry. I'm making you go crazy on that. So hold on. Hold on. Alright, now this is out of the meeting minutes where in the previous article or previous video I had pulled out, obviously, if you look here, 1984, and here it says 1974, when in all reality it's 1984. And where the Tribal Council says, the review of Article 1 continued, Section 4, adoption and loss of membership. There was a reference to a Tribal Council meeting held September 19, 1982. At that time, there was a motion approved which in part states that adoptions prior to 1979 shall be accepted as members, and that since 1979, each applicant must meet 1/4 degree requirement. I'm sorry, but I don't recall seeing anything in this meeting talking about people prior to 1979. Nothing at all. So that was just thrown in there so he could put people that he wanted to, including himself, on the roll, because Eddie Tullis had been part of the council movement, I guess you will. And he just added himself, he added his wife, he added whoever he wanted to. Let me throw some more names out there. I do believe Robert McGee was added to the role in that manner. Now let's move on to the man who started all of this: confusion, deception, theft, fraud, and destruction of federal documents. As you see here, this is a comment that's taken out of a publication that is found in the tribal archives. This was given to me by a current tribal member, which is also direct blood relation to me through my grandfather's oldest brother, Lawrence Walker, found listed in McGee versus Walker as receiving 1/11th share. Eddie Tullis, quote, "My interest in the Creek Indian people and my involvement in the work of the Creek Indians. It came about in a very unusual way. I made a trip to Washington, D.C. in early 1961, 1962. Shortly after returning, I had the opportunity to accompany Chief McGee back to Washington, D.C. Not that Eddie Tullis was interested in the Creek Indian people because he too was a Creek Indian, or he was the grandson of the brother of Chief Fred Walker, as his genealogy tree claims. Why would he take a special interest in the Creek Indian people? I would think that it would be just like he claims, that he too was affected by all of it. But that's not what I've uncovered. I've uncovered something completely different. That his interests in the Creek Indian people were of his own benefit. So according, and I'm not going to share that part of it on this, but according to my research study, there's reason to believe that Eddie Tullis does not genetically directly connect by blood to the Walker family, nor anyone that directly connects to the reservation lands under the IRA or otherwise. It is believed that his mother is a unregistered child, immigrant child, brought from Mexico by her mother, along with her other siblings. The youngest child in the family would have been Lola McKinley, and his grandmother's name would have been can't think of it at the moment, would have been, Nettie Littles McKinley. Nettie Littles McKinley, that ended up with the Hall last name. Nettie Hall, found on the death certificate of the youngest sister of Florence, his mother. And her name was only Walker because she married John Robert Walker, which is also, Lola was not even John Robert Walker's daughter. You can find Nettie Littles McKinley in the 1900 census with all of her children, including Lola, including Florence, and found in the Mississippi Choctaw. So you might want to check those records. Eddie Tullis was a census taker and had been part of the census takers for a very long time. Back in the 60s, he became a part of the census takers. I'm going to pause this, see if I can't find that record. Alright, so talking about Lola Walker McKinley. A little closer. Excuse me. Lola Walker McKinley, female. Date of death, June 8, 1999. 100 years old. Date of birth, May 13th, 1898, Uniontown, Alabama. St. Anne Nursing Home, City of Fort Wayne, Allen County. She was a widow, so McKinley was not her married name. And then shows here, she was Indiana. She was black. Her father's name was supposedly Robert Walker, Matilda Huff. And you'll see Arthur Jackson, supposedly living in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I do believe that this is a fake death certificate because where did it go? In the Social Security Index, you see Lola E. Talley, Lola E. McKinley, October 5th, 1898. Holdenville, Oklahoma, date of death, January 20th, 1988. Now, I'm fixing to show you a few other things. On Lola. And this will all directly connect her to docket 275, which was released. Her name was released in the whereabouts unknown list for docket 275 for Porch. So Lola, if I can find the right one. Lola, here listed as Diolu Walker. You see Florence Walker. There's Emma and Richard Walker. Here is Arthur Jackson, who signed Lola's death certificate. And there's no assumption here. I know for a fact. Because Emma and Richard, being Florence and Gurley's supposed parents, is not correct. And I know this for a fact. Because in the previous year, here's the 1920 census, where you have Emma and Richard. In the previous year, hold on, I gotta find the 1910. This is actually the 1900 census. The Choctaw Agency. Choctaw, see, the Choctaw Indian Nation. So hard because I can't see these pictures. Here we go. Lola McKinley, Lola Elizabeth McKinley, about 1897, Oklahoma, and her home was Torrance, New Mexico. It's the same woman. I mean, if somebody in the federal government can actually go, because it all, Nettie Little McKenzie McKinley, Nettie Littles McKinley, you will find that she's attached immigration papers and all of her children listed in the 1900 census here. They were all undocumented. This would be Eddie Tullis's mother. And there's one, I believe, one more child after this. And that's Lola. This could be Lola 1, Lavina. Let's see what this is. Jared, Curly. That's not it. That's the death. Okay, so here's a portion of the marriage license for John Robert Walker. Look, Letty M. Huff. That would be Matilda. Letty Matilda Huff. That is not her maiden name. That is Nettie Littles McKinley. Look who signed this marriage license in 1962 in Spokane, Washington for John Robert Walker and Letty M. Huff. Patrick Rowland. It's supposed to be Rollins. Yeah, I don't believe that that is a legit claim. I do not believe that Girlie Walker is the offspring of Emma Walker McGee and Richard Walker, the brother of Fred. I do believe, and I have beyond reasonable shadow of a doubt to believe that Eddie Tullis and Buford Rowland both claim to be blood descendants, and they are not who they claim to be. And the whole reason why any of this is so messed up is because they wanted to defraud the Indians. If I could find the article where Calvin McGee, and I'll look for it, and I'm going to pause it here